for it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and people of the internet. I am James Phoenix, and I am James Phoenix, and welcome to another weekly WXR. We, of course, are here to talk about...
according to transcripts.
Yeah, it's according to the YouTube transcripts. So, of course, this is WXR for the week of July the 6th through the 12th. And we're going to take a look at all the goings on here. Joining me is the largest group we've had for WXR in a while here. Over here on my one side, well, not my literal side, but you know what I mean. But over here from the Shadows Mall and other such good things, Marcus Shadows here.
Sup, yo?
From the Mole Hole, Gaming Zone, Comic Zone, XGR, all such good things, Chris the Mole.
Hello.
We've got, of course, from XGR and his own wonderful reviews, the sad gamer, Richter Hammer.
That's what Rick do.
It is.
What?
Sadgamer.com. Sadgamer.com.
Sadgamer.com.
Oh, that's fine.
And because this is WWE Canada Week, we thought it appropriate to have our own little Canadian with us, the Queen of Hearts.
Hey, everyone.
No, you're not being stereotypical enough. You have to say A at the end of everything.
I wasn't being stereotypical.
That was my point. You should be, but anyway.
Hockey!
There you go. Bret Hart. No. Okay. So who has something they want to talk about?
I'll go with the one I wanted to talk about, which was
Alright.
the thing that made me go woo the second they announced it.
Okay.
Bret Hart on Raw.
Yeah.
Woo! Special guest Bret the Hitman Hart. Yes.
Mhm.
And our SmackDown.
Coincidentally, the news I had written down is Bret Hart will be joining the likes of Billy Graham and Rowdy Roddy Piper in a new series of, basically a new release of them, if you will, of WWE called Timeline, the history of WWE. He's doing 1992, available at kfabcommentaries.com, which if you haven't seen them, they're pretty damn interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he was on Monday Night Raw around the same time, 'cause that comes out July 31st. But still, they announced it on the day before he came on Raw. I was like, yes. But also, as a result, we also got Sandow Bret, which was kind of cool.
Sandor.
Am I the only one who thinks they gave him a brilliant line? Whack! No, I punch well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was brilliant.
Bret's the Hitman Sandhart.
I don't remember what Sandow said to him. Well, do you remember? So maybe
We always
made
knew
a better
talking
picture.
wasn't your strong
Yeah.
suit.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that clip and the one
Yeah.
on SmackDown.
Yeah, it wasn't talking song suit. No, punching was.
I thought that was brilliant.
Which was awesome. I loved the fact Bret Hart was dressed like an adult, because I hated it when he first came back to WWE and they tried to make him look like his 20-year-old self with the jacket and the shorts. It's like, it doesn't work when he's that old.
Mhm.
But hell, Bret Hart was on Raw, which, as people know when they've seen our other videos, big Bret Hart fan. The guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The rest of Raw was just gravy.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in a while, we actually got a semi-decent Raw, huh?
Blame Canada?
I don't know. We'll find out this Monday. No, but I mean, we got the Usos v Wyatt's rematch, which, for anyone who's watched or listened to our pay-per-view recap there, that was an awesome match on the pay-per-view, and it was still awesome on Raw. They still put on a really good match.
Indeed.
Yep. Raw was pretty great from the beginning to the end. There was a couple of segments were a miss, but overall it was good. It was actually made me go, yay, I'm kind of glad it was 3 hours of this. Unlike every week where it's like, oh god, 3 hours of this.
Yeah.
Cough, shitty Divas match about the Funkadactyls, cough.
Yeah. Like, for example, which I know I don't think anyone here is going to mention, for example, Rick, at the beginning of Raw, when it was done, Roman Reigns got the microphone and did an awesome fucking promo.
Oh,
I still need to go back and watch that.
when the crowd started to chant Cena sucks and stuff, instead of not acknowledging it like most superstars do at the moment, he actually looked at him, then said that into the microphone. When Roman Reigns is in the house, you're damn right Cena sucks. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And then Kane came out. It was great. That was a great segment to kick off Raw.
It was.
Yeah.
I
See,
agree.
I thought that segment was a little awkward only because it seemed to me that the way Roman Reigns was cutting his promo is he was kind of doing it, I don't necessarily want to say Austin style, but he was doing it in the style where he was periodically pausing for audience response, and it didn't seem like they were keeping up with him on the response. But when it got to the Cena sucks part and for there onward, it was very good. It just seemed like the audience wasn't totally in tone with his. He was doing the start and stop style of promo that guys like Kevin Nash like to do, and not a lot of guys do that anymore. So I don't think the audience was ready for it, but it was still a very good promo.
Which, like I said to you, I don't think it was the Austin style of leaving the gaps for the what. It was more like the Nash, and I think Bret Hart used to doing stuff of pausing, not because they wanted the audience to react in that part. It's because they're thinking about what to say next, and they want to make sure they get the words right. More so than some of the other ones where they could talk too quick and then they'll mess it up. Which I can respect.
I'm liking Roman Reigns more and more the more I see him. I need to go back and watch that promo because I caught the tail end of that when Kane came out. That's when I started watching it. But I don't know. He in the ring he seems to be almost, for lack of a better phrase, the total package. Because he's that lean. Yes, he's that. Well, yeah, he's that lean, quick, big guy. Like and I know this is probably going to be a pretty bad comparison, but he's like Goldberg because he's fast, but he's a big guy. And so he's fun.
Bad comparison.
He's fun to watch in the ring.
Roman Reigns can actually wrestle.
Yes,
exactly.
he can.
And his entrance is actually a lot quicker than his match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what do you guys think of when he comes out to talk? He comes down the ramp instead of through the crowd.
I'm okay with that.
That was cool.
I'm more okay with that.
I don't remember seeing that part.
Because when he comes through the crowd now, it seems like they may slowly phase out the crowd thing. Because it seems like he comes down for his matches in the crowd. So it's like, oh, where's he going to come from? But for his promo, he was scheduled to start Raw with that. So it's like, okay, it's an official capacity. Let him come out normally, which kind of works better. I like that.
Yeah, because coming to the crowd was kind of a Shield thing, and the Shield is basically dead at this point, so it makes sense that they wouldn't really use it anymore, except for when Ambrose is jumping Rollins to stop him from cashing in.
Right.
I think they have a pretty successful spin-off on ABC called Agents of Shield.
That's true. That's true.
I think one thing they could do with Reigns, I think it'd be cool if Reigns has the balance for it. They should give him a Sandman-esque entrance where he comes down, and when he gets to the bottom of the ramp, he hops up on the barricade. Because then you'd keep the element, from the Shield, but it'd be like he's taking the Shield and making it his own. So he's still kind of interacting with the fans and posing for the fans, and then he just gets into the ring.
True, but if you're a wrestler and you're trying to become the face of a company and be taken as a legitimate and serious wrestler, I'm pretty sure the last person you want to be compared to is a Sandman.
Well, I meant Sandman-esque as in hop up on the barricade. I didn't mean take a beer can and smash it on your head.
And to be fair, Sandman was pretty cool. And his entrance when he did that on the barricade, wasn't that more because it wasn't to get involved with the fans, it was more to show off the fact part of his back thing of he used to do construction work and was used to walking beams. So he kind of wanted to keep that as part of who he was.
Okay, I didn't know that's why he did it. He still does construction work, but I didn't know that. But I just figured, it looks cool, and I could totally see Reigns doing that, and it allows him to interact with the fans, so it'd still keep kind of the Shield thing without making it the Shield where he comes down through the crowd. So it'd be more. Yeah. It would basically mainstream the Shield entrance, if more than anything.
I feel like that would work, but if he's going to do that, and he's going to continue wearing the ring gear, he has the Shield ring gear. If he's going to do that, then have him keep wearing the Shield ring gear, have him come down and climb on the barricade, but have him wielding a big boss man beat stick.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, if they're going to push him as the face of the company, to me that tells me they're probably not going to bring the Shield back together, Which, if that's the case, change his look a little bit or his outfit.
Well, they're going to bring the Shield back together. It's just going to be in the middle of next year.
Not if he's the champ.
That did not stop Evolution when Randy Orton was the champ.
Yeah, but Evolution is all about ego. Oh, Roman Reigns is not. At least not yet.
No, but if Roman Reigns is out there as the champ and he's getting repeatedly jumped by the Wyatts or some other group, then it would make sense that he might call some old friends to back him up and reform the Shield.
Or they could do the smart thing and team him with his family.
They could.
Which I think would make a lot more sense. Because, well, family.
True.
The resemblance, too. If you ever see them all together, it's like, yeah, okay, they're related.
Well, yeah, they're cousins, but still.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, by the way, Roman Reigns is a cousin of the Usos.
Yeah.
I figured, because name one Samoa wrestler that's not related to him.
Well, I knew you knew. I meant the audience.
I
Besides,
assumed
they-
our audience knew every Samoan is related to each other.
Besides, if they do that, and they all remain face, that gives WWE an excuse to bring The Rock back again. Just for anything.
Yeah, but yeah, because
Wait, they
Well,
can't bring him
bring
back.
The Rock.
They can't bring him back. He never left. I thought he said he was never leaving.
He was never going to leave again. No.
Yeah,
Now, here's
plus
my-
I also love the fact The Rock is Marcus Shadow's favorite wrestler of all time, and in his eyes, the only reason they could have an excuse to bring The Rock back is if they team up with two jobbers and a guy who might be the face of the company after he's left. That's
two
the, only
jobbers?
reason that's the only reason The Rock belongs on TV.
Hey, what are you talking about two jobbers? They're the tag team champions, buddy.
Yeah, I think the Usos have proved themselves. They've proved that they can put on pretty much 5-star matches.
Hey, I'm not saying the Usos are jobbers as in they have no talent. I like the Usos, but they're jobbers in that any time WWE gets a tag team they want to push, they instantly make them beat the Usos every week for like a year.
Cough, Wyatt's cough.
Cough anyone, cough.
Yeah. Also, I like to make the point here. We don't know if the Usos have actually made it yet. We have to wait until October to see if they're DLC or not.
Yeah. See, well, given that they recently won the titles and given WWE's track record with their champions, I'm going to go on a limb and say they may be DLC. Otherwise, they're not going to be in the game.
I hope Paige makes it.
I do too.
I agree.
No, but seriously, I think the Usos are probably in the game.
They probably
In fact,
are.
I'd be surprised if they didn't start as the tag team champs in the game.
Game opens, tag champs of the Wyatts. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So,
Any
who
other?
else- Who else has something they want to discuss for Monday Night Raw? Anybody? I'll do one then. I would like to say that I did not see the precursor to this on SmackDown of the previous week. But from what I saw, I'm a big fan of the El Torito Bo Dallas feud.
I'm not a fan of that. That's on my
Me neither.
negative list.
That's hilarious.
That's a waste of Bo Dallas.
Yeah. I kind of understand why they did it, but at the same time, it's like, no. It was better what they did on SmackDown, which I'll get to, but it's like, no.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a complete waste of Bo Dallas making him go against him, because that'd be like, in terms of the people might understand of, that'd be like putting early 90s Shawn Michaels when he's around intercontinental level against Dink. And having that be his only feud. It's like, that's a complete waste of that talent.
Mhm.
I mean, Bo Dallas, he's awesome on the microphone. The crowd's reacting to him. He's great in the ring, and yet, what are they using him for? To fight a little short midget, no offense, Marcus, a short midget dressed as a minotaur. Or a minotaur.
True.
I have a feeling the reason they did that is because Epico is injured, so they didn't know what else to do. It's like, you could do what you did on SmackDown and have him face Primo, but whatever. No, we're going to have him face the Minotaur.
Yeah. If anything, I think Bo Dallas needs to feud with somebody that can keep it up with him in the ring, like Kofi Kingston or something.
Yeah, he needs to feud. He just needs to feud with someone good. Hell, even if they put him against a shit bigger guy, like, I don't know, Ryback, for example, it would still be a step up if he won, because it's at least a proper wrestler instead of a hilarious joke thing.
Hmm Actually, no. You know what? You know what the feud needs to be.
Mm.
I can think of an amazing feud.
Bo
Go for it.
Dallas v Jericho.
Yes, but that wasn't what I meant. Bo Dallas. Depending on how you book this, you'd have to. It'd be interesting to see how you book this. One of the other would have to kind of turn. Bo Dallas versus Damian Sandow. Every week, Damian Sandow comes out in some stupid costume, he gets his ass beat, and then Bo Dallas just comes out and reminds him that he can do it next week. If he just believes.
Actually, I know a great feud they could do since they seem to be forgetting about him and making him second fiddle right now, which they shouldn't.
Miz.
Bo Dallas v. The Miz. Because can you imagine Bo Dallas doing his, all you have to do is Bo leave, and then Miz just turns around and is like, really? Really? I think that'd be an amazing feud, and they both have similar wrestling styles, so their matches would be phenomenal in the ring.
Yeah. Oh, since you
True.
mentioned him before, why don't they bring The Rock back? So they got an excuse. They got Bo Dallas. Imagine though, and that was a joke comment, but imagine if The Rock was on Raw, and imagine Bo Dallas interrupting him and telling The Rock that he doesn't have to go and make movies. He could make it like Bo Dallas as a wrestler if he just believe.
That'd be
That would be
amazing.
hilarious. Well, I just want to ask, did anybody but me see the awesome photo album on WWE.com of Bo Dallas offering moral support to in famous moments of wrestling?
I had.
That was awesome.
I haven't.
I have not.
Go check it out if you get a chance. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, like we already said, Raw was pretty good with stuff like Orton v Ambrose was a great match. You had like Fandango and commentary and shit, but I really liked the segment of Nikki Bella versus Alicia Fox with one arm tied behind her back. Admittedly, Alicia didn't tie her hand behind her back and assaulted Nikki,
Big
but
shock.
they tied it together
Yeah.
with the but they tied it together with the Brie v Stephanie match. And I'm sorry, how many times have we seen guys, like I mentioned to Marcus, have we seen guys do that? Like they'll come out and they'll have like one arm behind their back and then get assaulted by the other one, or handcuffs and then assaulted by the other one and stuff. And it totally works because it made it feel like it wasn't a joke or a piss break or anything like that. It made it feel like, okay, you're actually doing a real feud for these people. It may not, the matchup quality may have not been great, but what it stood for, I was all for that. I was like, that's a great way of showcasing these two divas, linking it to a feud, and allowing when you eventually bring Brie Bella back to feud her and Stephanie or whatever.
I agree. Although this does bring up one question.
Mm.
It doesn't make a thing. So Nikki, basically, because of Brie not being around, I mean, Nikki's basically getting picked on and tortured by Stephanie and, all this other kind of, they've been picked on and tortured by Stephanie and all this other shit. What doesn't make sense to me is, okay, they're doing that because of Brie. But at the same time, her boyfriend Cena is apparently beloved by the Authority, and he's not doing anything about it.
They love Cena because Cena makes them money.
Corporate Cena.
Plus, to be fair, Nikki Bella is basically how to describe this. Nikki Bella is basically like Walmart. So therefore, you're gonna hate Walmart. Everyone seems to hate Walmart. But yet, if Richter was to enter inside Walmart, I'm not gonna judge him.
Fair enough.
Besides, Cena has his own shit to deal with, and he doesn't necessarily like the Authority. In fact, he told them off.
Yeah.
I didn't say he didn't like the Authority, but the fact that he hates the Authority and sees the Authority blatantly treating his girlfriend like crap, if I were him, I would have done something about that.
Yeah, but now you
Yeah,
understand.
while
why
wearing a
they
giant
got
ass
divorced.
bullseye on your waist. Brilliant idea. Leave yourself wide open for Seth Rollins to jack the title from you.
And
Brilliant.
also, yeah, but in all fairness, I don't have to worry about Seth Rollins jacking a title from me because Dean Ambrose is going to beat the shit out of him if he tries.
Yeah, plus to be fair with that though, Jim, the two things. One, on TV they don't really put Nikki and John and Cena together much. In fact, they're almost acting like Cena's single, probably for the female members of the audience.
But they do with
And
the other.
B-
Don't you watch Total Divas?
And B, Cena's like Marcus said, Cena's doing his other stuff with being champion and stuff. Plus, the Authority. It's not that they like Cena; they just don't want to go against Cena. It's one of those things that they're like being nice to him, even though clearly they try to set up him losing his belt. But it's like they want to be nice to him because they don't want him as an enemy. So I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Which is funny because they took him on as an enemy, the Authority could face turn. But anyway,
I want to see corporate Cena.
that would be entertaining also.
I'll admit, I kind of don't want Cena to turn heel now.
Why is
Really?
that?
Well, like he's mentioned himself and they've mentioned, he's due to retire in the next couple of years. Fuck it. At this point, if you turn him heel and stuff right before he goes to retire, I'd rather him stay face when he goes to retire. I mean, when he retires, he'll actually get some respect off the fans when he retires, which, yeah, I know, haha, lol, Cena sucks and all that crap, but it's a case of he still deserves it for him being there that long. It's like,
True.
I'm not a fan of some of the people in the Hall of Fame, but they still deserve to be there.
True.
Except for Bob Barker.
And
Mhm.
Drew Carey.
And Drew Carey.
He was in a match.
And Drew Carey was in the Royal Rumble. Screw you.
No.
If that's the case, then David Arquette deserves it even more.
David Arquette was the damn champion. I don't know why he's not in there.
Yeah, David Arquette does deserve to go in the celebrity wing.
Would he not be? He wouldn't be considered a celebrity though, would he? Because he was actually a champion. Would he not be considered a legend superstar?
He was a champion, but they still considered him a guest and and he was a celebrity.
Yep.
Fair enough. See, anything else happened on Raw that was interesting?
Miz, Jericho, Wyatt's ruining it again.
Yeah.
The thing that before we watched, everyone was like, "No, they're not, Wyatt's have done with him till around SummerSlam. Boom, it does it again." It's like, yeah,
Yeah, and then they announced the Jericho v Wyatt match. It's like, oh, fuck you, WWE. And then, of course, there wasn't Raw where Paige teamed with AJ.
I was gonna bring that up because I vaguely mentioned the match earlier. I got that was like storyline whiplash.
I think they're face turning AJ.
AJ was a face the moment her music hit and she walked out. I think they're face turning Paige.
Don't you mean heel turning Paige?
Well, no, because to be honest, she was basically out there fighting all these other divas and whatnot, and she didn't seem to be getting that positive a response, and she was kind of acting like a bitch.
She was getting a positive response. The only time she really got a negative response was around the time AJ came back, and then she started to act more like a heel.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see what happens. It may be a heel turn, but yeah, that was weird. All of a sudden, Paige introduces her, and they're all okay with it. Like, okay, I know you want to focus on breaking up the other team, but what the hell? You basically just blatantly aborted one storyline a weekend to focus on another one.
Yeah, you basically aborted the title feud to focus on the shitterdactyls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Who shouldn't even belong on TV. They're like Ryback territory. No, get them off.
And they aborted Paige's title run, which I'm like, really? You're gonna do that to return to the status quo, unquote? Oh, fuck off.
And Snitsky aborted Lita's baby.
He did.
It wasn't his fault.
But now, Marcus, I find that a little hypocritical because weren't you the one that was bitching for multiple weeks prior that you didn't think Paige deserved the title because she hadn't proved to you that she could wrestle?
No, I said I was disappointed with WWE because they didn't let Paige do anything, and I haven't seen anything out of her. I felt she deserved the title, but I felt WWE didn't allow her to show why she deserved the title, which I wanted to see because I had heard so many great things about her, and I actually wanted to see her wrestle.
Watch NXT.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you have the network. There's no excuse.
Fair enough. Would anybody like to talk about anything that happened on main event?
Didn't watch it. We both missed it. Although I do want to go back to see it because I want to see the highlight reel.
There was also a lovely United States Championship last man standing match.
Really? A last man standing match on main event?
There was a last man standing U.S. title match between Sheamus and who the hell did Sheamus fight? Anybody? Anybody remember?
Doesn't matter.
No.
Sheamus probably won.
No, he retained the title, but I'm trying to remember who the hell he actually had a match with.
It's not actually shown here, and the only way you can watch it is over there is through the network. So it'd be up to you and Marcus.
Fair enough. But yeah, Sheamus defended the title against somebody in a last man standing match, and he ended up winning.
Fair enough.
I want to say it was against whoever he's defending the title against at the pay-per-view, I think.
Fair enough. It's all good.
And it's all good. So, anybody like to talk about SmackDown?
Sure. Hart, you want to kick it off since you actually saw the whole thing? If you're still awake over there.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear my name per se. I heard you say something, but I wasn't sure that you were talking to me.
Yeah,
wow,
so
even
we're
the
on
women we hired
SmackDown
don't
now.
want to talk to Marcus.
No, we're on SmackDown now, and I figured since you actually saw the whole thing, you might want to kick it off since I missed the first, 20 minutes of it.
Hmm.
Or was the beginning really not that interesting?
I don't think I found the beginning all that interesting. That was just they were showing stuff that happened on beginning of the week and stuff.
So it's all recap, basically.
At the beginning, yes. They had Rusev come out and talk, and then Reigns came out and started talking, and then they were going to fight, but Lana stopped it. It was like, okay, well, not right now. We're not going to do it on his terms.
That's a point. Was it this week or was it last week on Raw when they turned Swagger?
Last week, I think.
Last week.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Ah, fair enough. So they didn't do anything with him. That's a bad thing.
Well,
Yeah.
he's facing Rusev at the pay-per-view. Swagger's taking out Rusev at Battleground.
I know. I said they didn't do anything with him majorly on Raw.
No.
The fact he may do something at a later date doesn't change the fact that I'm just talking about on Raw.
Okay.
I think we went over this already about the Divas. They did have on SmackDown. They did have a match with AJ and Cameron. And when Cameron tried to walk out, Naomi came up behind her and pushed her back in the ring, and that's where AJ picked up the win.
Yeah,
Because
this is why I
was distracted.
Yeah, this is why I said I think they're not trying, but they're face turning AJ because she got the overwhelmingly face response and they put her against a heel. I'm like, wait, did they face turn her? Also, AJ has a new finishing move. She doesn't have that stupidly ridiculous submission move that should never ever work. They gave her an actual move which she can actually do fairly well. It was actually pretty good, even though she was a little off balance when she did it because tired and in a match. But and it's a straightforward, effective, simple move. They gave her a shining wizard.
Excuse me.
That works.
Because she pulled out there like, shining wizard! And I'm like, wait, they gave her a new finishing move?
Yep.
So I guess face AJ uses the shining wizard.
I guess so.
There was the next match between Fandango and Adam Rose, and Adam Rose. No, actually, Adam Rose won because Fandango got counted out because he was trying to break up the fight between Layla and Summer Rae.
Yeah, and that was brilliant. Summer Rae came out with the rosebuds. I love that.
Whoa,
That was awesome.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Layla and Summer Rae.
you only realized that after they came to the ring.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was her until the rosebuds backed away and she stayed there. I was like, oh wait, that's Summer Rae. Shit, I didn't notice her. But yeah, Summer Rae and Layla started going at it in front of the announcer's table, and Fandango slid out of the ring, tried to break them up, and then got counted out first.
Where was Joey Styles when we needed him?
I know.
Oh my God!
Cat bite!
That too.
But then that resulted in in my opinion, one of the funniest things I've seen in the more recent episodes, and that is that led to a rematch, Layla versus Summer Rae, with Fandango as the referee. And they all got in the ring. Layla tried to run at Summer Rae. Fandango held her back, calmed her down. Then Summer Rae tried to run at Layla. He went over there and pushed her back and calmed her down. And then Fandango proceeded to walk to the middle of the ring and started to gyrate.
Yeah, and then they both turned on
Yeah.
him and started beating on him. After
Yeah, they
he-
kind of looked at each other across the ring and were like, "Nah, fuck that," and then jumped on him and beat the crap
Yeah,
out of
and
him.
then after he was outside of the ring, just laying there on the floor, thinking, "What the hell is going on?" They started dancing with each other.
HLA, HLA.
Oh,
But then,
my.
but
Which
then
fire?
supposedly, according to was it Mole? Were you the one that told me about what happened afterwards?
Think so. The stuff via Twitter.
Yeah, apparently afterwards, like the Summer Rae and Layla were seen backstage as friends, and then immediately following that, Layla was seen, or they tweeted that she was apologizing to Fandango for what happened. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but
So
I don't
Mo
know.
posited that
that-
one of two things could happen: either a they're gonna repeat it on Raw, the girls turning on Fandango, or it was just a one-time deal.
yeah, which the other thing I mentioned to you about that segment was I do find that segment sounded hilarious, but I do find it hilarious for wrong reasons. Of that's allowed to happen, but let's say I don't know, the Wyatts were to turn on AJ and beat the crap up, people would be outraged.
Mm-hmm.
Sexism! Sexism!
On the steel.
Pretty
Good
much.
job, Jim. My point wasn't subtle.
So personally, when he comes back, am I the only one that would like to see the following feud? I would like to see exactly which ones would be face, which ones would be heel. I don't know. I think that's probably have Summer Rae end up back with Fandango, break up the Fandango Layla thing, have it end with him getting back together with Summer Rae, and have them face turn and have them continue the feud against Layla, but then have Layla form a team with the returning Bad News Barrett. And have Barrett feud with
I thought he wasn't returning because he had a bad shoulder.
yeah, that's
Like,
what I mean. I mean when he returns.
Personally,
well, I thought he wasn't returning at all, like indefinitely, kind of thing.
Well,
'Cause
inevitably,
that's
it's going
why
to
he.
be inevitably.
I
Well,
think
yes, but inevitably it will be healed, but he will come back.
I think you're confusing it with what Marcus Shadow said about Daniel Bryan.
Well, he isn't that the reason why he had to give up his Intercontinental title.
Yeah, he gave it up for an injury, but I believe it was Marcus that mentioned the other day that it's Daniel Bryan that may not come back indefinitely, but Wade Barrett's injured and will return. It's just a case of he had to give up his belt because he doesn't get to choose whether or not he keeps his title like other champions.
Because he's not equal to other champions.
Yeah,
According
because
to
he's
a
them.
plus player.
it's
Yeah.
because he's not. It's
Oh.
because he's not there to. He's because he's not there to please like kids.
Well, I was talking about this with my father, so I mean, I just thought like
Yeah.
he was saying indefinitely.
No,
Yeah,
He said he wasn't coming back at all.
it definitely doesn't mean you're not coming back. It just means they don't know when you're coming back. You
Yeah.
realize that, right?
Fair enough. But yeah, I was gonna say about what you said, Jim. Like I mentioned in the past, with even putting Summer Rae with Layla. God, I hope not. Only because I like Bad News Barrett. I like Summer Rae. Layla holds everyone back. Everyone she's with seems suckier if they're with Layla. Like look at Michelle McCool, one of the greatest in-ring divas of at least of our generation, or whatever you want to say. But she was held back the second she was put in Lay Cool.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh God, no.
But they were flawless.
And Dolph Ziggler comes out to music and says he's perfection, but
True.
the best thing he's ever done was appear in the Spirit Squad.
but then again, also he's a show off, and that much is accurate. Anywho, moving along here.
What else did we have on
Well,
SmackDown?
I will just.
There
I will
was
just.
the. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Go
And no,
ahead.
no, I was gonna say I thought we were done with SmackDown. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know that it was Alberto Del Rio that Sheamus beat in the last man standing match.
Fair enough.
And I will
So,
just say, everyone who cares, speak up now.
uh-huh. The next thing that happened was the fact that there's a tag team match between the Usos and Slater teaming up with Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, that was completely ass random.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I saw the Usos come out, and then I saw them too. I was like, really? They're gonna team Slater with O'Neil?
Well,
Really?
unfortunately, those two guys had nothing else to do because they fired Wendy's partners and Titus's partner is injured. So
Ah, I see what they did there. Heath Slater is the one-man rock band, and Slater's another word for rock. I see what they did there. Ah. Oh, you know, it's what Jim said, and they just threw them together randomly.
yeah,
I think they were making the slate pun.
millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars.
But the Usos ended up winning over that tag team, over them anyway.
Of course they did.
Let's see. We had Orton v Jericho.
Yep. Well, it's also worth noting, based on what Jim had mentioned a second ago, Titus O'Neil's partner may be injured, but Darren Young is officially announced for 2K415.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
He
Who's,
got announced before Titus. Boom.
Yeah.
Who's Titus's who's his partner? Who's Titus's partner?
Darren Young.
The Rock.
Are you,
Well,
I thought they split up though.
they did split up, but they barely split up before Darren Young got injured.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
And
Orton v Jericho, which Orton had a little interview with Renee Young, and he said one thing that made me squeal a little bit because I didn't think he'd ever go back to it. And he goes, "Some may even say that Chris Jericho is a legend. Well, tonight I'm going to introduce him to the Legend Killer." And I was like, "Yee! He's calling himself the Legend Killer. That's awesome."
Who is?
Orton.
And out came Ultimate Warrior's manager.
Ha! Wow. Truth be told, up until the climax of the match was actually pretty good. I think what they did for storyline purposes, but I think ultimately it was unnecessary because it kind of made Orton look weak. Because Orton ended up winning by distraction. Which I'm like, really? Randy Orton against Chris Jericho, and he needs the distraction to win. Come on, it's Randy Orton.
Come on, it's Jericho.
I know. They're both almost on equal levels. Orton, I think, is good enough to be considered up in the same vein as like Triple H and stuff like that.
Oh, I agree. Orton's good enough to be considered on the same par with Jericho and Triple H and stuff in terms of main event status. But the thing with that is, Orton's the heel, Jericho's the face. If a heel gets a chance and they're at equal or slightly lesser difficulty, they will take it. Now, if it was Orton v Heath Slater and he won by distraction, bullshit. A heel beating a face of equal measure by distraction is equally valid. Like Triple H won by distraction when he was like a major heel. He won cleanly a lot of times too, but he also won by distraction and stuff.
I suppose. But yeah, and of course, as you probably have guessed, Mole, you know who distracted him.
The voices in Orton's head.
Yeah.
He could very well be the voice in Orton's head. Yes.
Or was it Fozzie Bear complaining about the fact Jericho's band stole his name?
He could be Fozzie Bear as well. He kind of looks like him. Yes.
Or just because Richter's in the conversation and I want a cheap pop, was it Soundwave?
No.
Yes. It was Laserbeak.
But yeah, no, I assume Wyatt's again.
Yeah, it was Bray on the I think he was on the Tron. Was he on the Tron Queen of Hearts, or did he actually come out? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
See, I have no problem with the Wyatt interfering or distracting him in that matchup. My problem is the fact it looks like it's supposed to be a Jericho Miz feud, and they're
Yeah.
completely disregarding Miz for the Wyatt. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really disappointing. Let's see what else happened. Am I missing any matches leading up to the main event, Queen of Hearts?
The main event would be the.
Reigns v Rusev.
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
Okay, yeah, and then it ended with.
I'm looking though.
Okay. Well, we can talk about the main event while you're seeing anything we missed. But the main event was Roman Reigns versus Rusev, and I'd be surprised if Rusev wasn't actively hunting down Randy Orton as we speak.
But sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But there was the match with Goldust against Curtis. No, wait. What's his? Curtis Axel. Nope, that's not his name. Yes, it is.
Yeah, versus Axel. Yeah.
My one thing I wanted to discuss with Raw and SmackDown stuff, but was it was in Canada. They had Brett.
Yes.
And I know she was backstage, she had photos. Why didn't Natalia come out? And I know she's on NXT before someone says that, but since she's been in NXT, she's appeared now and again for an off appearance. I'd like to see Natalia.
Yeah, I agree.
There was also a match with Bo Dallas against the.
Oh yeah, that's right. Versus Primo. He fought Primo.
Anyone, and then he went onto the little bull guy and did his finishing move, and he thinks, oh yeah, well, I'm good, I'm the greatest because I beat up a little person.
Yeah. See, that match I was okay with because he fought Primo. I'm like, okay, wrestler v wrestler, and Primo's actually pretty good, so this should be a decent match, and it was. V the Minotaur? No. Most definitely not. But yeah, Rusev. Hopefully Lana will sick Rusev on Orton because Orton basically cost Rusev his undefeated streak.
How'd you do that?
He came out and attacked Reigns in the middle of the match.
So Reigns won by DQ?
Pretty much. I assume, and I hope it's a correct assumption, but I assume that's why when Rusev had Reigns on the mat, because he attacked him afterwards, why Lana told Rusev to leave the ring, because it's like, no, it's dishonorable to attack someone.
Then my guess is they'll do what they do with. My guess is they'll do what they do with every heel ever who's undefeated. The second they lose by DQ on Raw, it'll just be a case of Rusev, the man that is unpinned by Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, he told him to leave the ring, and Orton was outside the ring because Reigns had Superman punched him. And as they were leaving, the camera pulled back to show Orton in the lower left-hand corner of the frame. And as they were leaving, Orton kind of looked up and turned and looked at Rusev, and Rusev kind of stared at him as he walked away. So I'm hoping that'll lead to something.
And Orton looked at him, got down on his knees, and started to bang his hands on the stage till it made a... that part may not have happened.
But that match, considering how they're booking Rusev and how they're telling him to wrestle, which I don't agree with personally, but that match was actually pretty good. Now, if they had actually unleashed Rusev and actually let him actually wrestle, that match would have been fucking awesome. But I could tell that they were holding him back, that they were telling him to wrestle like a big man instead of, like he can wrestle like Samoa Joe. And you saw shades of it during the match. You saw shades of his speed and his technical prowess in the ring. But because they're like, no, you can't be doing that stuff. You're the big monster, therefore you have to do the slow, boring shit. It's like, no.
My guess is they're probably doing that till he's gotten over, which he has gotten over. Now, once his winning streak's gone, and he starts having a normal feud against a bigger up guy, like let's say it's actually, I don't know, him versus Jericho or something like that in the future, you could see him last longer and start going into that territory more. So it's like he becomes interesting again to keep him fresh.
Maybe,
Hopefully.
but it disappointed me because, and no offense to the other people he's gone up against, but they finally put him up against someone who could probably actually keep up with him in the ring, technically speaking, and strength wise and stuff. And they're just like, no, you must wrestle like Kali. And it's like, really? It
Did he do a
disappointed me. I
brain
was
chop?
I halfway expected him to pull one out the way he was wrestling. Yes, I mean, his moves were so slow and deliberate, and some of them were kind of stiff because he was doing it so slow. I was like, oh my god. If it wasn't for Roman Reigns, this match would be boring as hell.
I would have to ask. When did slow and deliberate mean bad? That's usually a good thing in wrestling because it means they're taking their time and choosing the right spots to hit, like they're picking away at their opponent.
It would be if it wasn't the standard big man moves, like the big slow punch and the big slow kick. Instead of, he's supposed to be like a kickboxer. He should have quick, hard kicks, But no, it's the slow, oh, I'm a big man. And I'm just like, no. Let him wrestle. It's the same complaint I have with Paige. Let her wrestle.
It's because he doesn't either A, have a magical mask that Stephanie McMahon keeps that grants him powers, or B, because he hasn't got a Green Lantern style Hall of Fame ring. Trust me, the second he takes out Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan's in the ring with, I am a real American, he'll beat him up, he'll take the ring, put it on, and then he'll get the powers.
Wouldn't that downgrade him even more?
Nope, because apparently when they put on the Hall of Fame ring, they become more unstoppable. It's weird.
Fair enough.
When I put this on, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
I can feel the power of Hulkamania running through me, brother.
Am I also the only person that if they ever did that when they took off the ring from Hulk Hogan, and this will never happen 'cause it's fantasy, but I'd love it if they took the ring off Hulk Hogan and, like when the Power Rangers demorph or people lose their power, the Green Lantern loses his ring and turns to normal. I'd like it if Hulk Hogan suddenly turned into Tom Selleck and was just laying there.
Okay, so Hulk Hogan's Hall of Fame ring, that's totally going to be an item in the Ryback God of War game, right? Is that like the final one?
That'll be the final one. Along with Kane's mask, that'll give you fire powers, the urn, which will allow you to resurrect yourself.
Why is this not a thing yet?
Yeah. And just for shits and giggles, one of the items you'll unlock will be one of The Rock's $1,000 shirts. So I have to forget that.
Yes. It reduces your damage. Or makes you get more money.
And just to go with the current running joke, one of the items you'll also get is the Cena throw towel.
Yep. And the other item you'll pick up will be the Cobra puppet, where once you put that on, ends your game. Hey, I said I wasn't going to make a Santino retirement joke last video. Now it's enough time's passed.
But yeah, the Rusev
Jim's been awfully quiet.
the Roman Reigns match is actually my favorite Rusev match I've seen since he's debuted, because you actually saw the flashes of his actual skill, and I was like, I want to actually see this guy wrestle now because he's actually really good. Let him do shit.
Let him do shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Watch all the episodes of NXT.
Yeah, I have to say that has been my biggest disappointment with WWE bringing up all this fresh talent from NXT. It almost seems like the way WWE operates, when you get called up to Raw and SmackDown, you become shit. What's up with that?
Well, that's because, as I mentioned in the past, it's the same thing when they take talent from Ring of Honor. It's because the WWE entertainment crowd don't want good wrestlers. They want to just be entertained with silly little storylines.
Yes, but if that's only true because the crowd doesn't know any better, is it really what they want?
Yeah, because as we've said before, for the longest time, I don't know if you can say for the entirety of its existence, but WWE and by extension Vince McMahon has pretty much dictated to the fans what they want. That's why the fans, quote, want what they want.
To be fair, it's also part of it's also due to the fans' mentality. It's like the fans had, and I don't mean any disrespect to you two, but I know you two have done this as well. They had like great wrestlers like Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and stuff constantly against each other on SmackDown. SmackDown was considered the wrestling show, and people like, not watching it, it's not Raw. Nowadays, the people have the WWE Network. They can watch NXT, and they turn and say, it's not Raw. Which means, yeah, if the fans don't climb and ask for something better, WWE will never give you something better.
True.
But considering how much money they're hemorrhaging right now, I think it'd be pretty obvious that they need something better.
But the money they're hemorrhaging is due to the network and some other mistakes.
Yeah, it's because people
Not
are not buying
necessarily
it, because
due to
people are
the
not
quality
buying
of
the
the show.
WWE Network because they think that the product is shit, and they're not totally wrong.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily due to the quality of the program, because let's face it, like we mentioned, Raw this week was pretty good, and the quality of Raw of the WWE in the last year has been the same it has for the last 4 years. It's been a little worse since the Authority took over, but it's not been too much worse.
Right. I don't know. I think WWE programming is starting to move in the right direction. Because, like we said, yeah, laugh it up, fuzzball. But no, I think it's starting to move in the right direction because, as we said, Raw this week was actually pretty good, and Raw last week wasn't half bad either. Wasn't as good as it was this week, but last week's Raw was actually semi-decent. So I think they're starting to put out some quality stuff.
See, last week, in my opinion, Raw was all over the place. It was good, then it was shit, then it was good, then it was shit. It was all over the place,
But
which is how Raw normally is.
Yeah, but at least they had good stuff as opposed to the way Raw's been the past, like, 5 years where it's been shit, maybe one shining moment, and then shit. Now it's actually there's consistently good stuff on Raw, which I think is a step in the right direction.
I will argue half or less than half of one show and an entire show isn't consistently, because give it a week or two and it'll go back to being shit. It's like leading up to WrestleMania like a year ago, we had like a great ones. We've had some great ones leading up to other pay-per-views, and suddenly the next week it's completely shit. WWE doesn't know how to stay consistently good.
Yeah.
Well, I think WWE's biggest problem right now is the fact that they seem to have forgotten how to put on a pay-per-view. Because, yeah, their pay-per-views have been shit for the past, like, year or two. Even WrestleMania, and that says a lot. It's like, you need to learn how to put on a pay-per-view again.
Yeah, but WrestleMania was pretty average. It had some good stuff, but it was pretty average. But some pay-per-views haven't been too bad. I mean, we've had some ones that are pretty good. Like, I thought the last Money in the Bank was pretty good.
Money in the Bank was okay. Like I said, I think they're starting off head to head in the right direction because, especially after the fans' outcry of WWE doesn't know how to end feuds properly. WWE doesn't know how to, chokes on the big one, on the big matches. And I think they're realizing, yeah, we need to actually have finishes to matches, which I don't know whose bright idea it was to say, yeah, pay-per-views don't need actual finishes to matches. Fuck that. It's like, really?
I would also argue some of this is because of the fact, and I know some people are going to boo this, but I don't care, some of this is because they haven't been building the entire show around Daniel Bryan. Because look at since he's been injured, good Raw, good pay-per-view. But the fact they started to bend over backwards to all the kids screaming yes made Raw really fucking shit.
Yeah. Let's just hope that the fans don't get that fanatical with Roman Reigns once they really start pushing him.
To be fair, he doesn't have one catchphrase. Plus, with Daniel Bryan, it was more of a thing of, like some people said, some other people were cheering for him just because it looked like they weren't supposed to because of how he looked and everything like that. I'm like, you shouldn't cheer for someone just because you don't think you're supposed to. You're supposed to cheer someone because you're a fan of them.
Hmm.
I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't think I'm supposed to like Miley Cyrus based on what everyone says. Woo, Miley! Oh, who does
Yeah.
that?
But I'm just afraid they're going to give Roman Reigns a catchphrase once they start pushing him as the face of the company, because that's one of the defining characteristics of the face of the company.
That's
Oh, I
what
do.
Vince do.
Yeah, I do think Roman Reigns will have a catchphrase, but I don't like Cena's had catchphrases. The Rock had catchphrases. Austin had catchphrases. Undertaker did. All of the big
Yeah.
ones do. I just
Yep.
don't think it's going to be a one-word one, waving his
No.
arms up and down to keep telling you to chant for me, like me, people, like me, chant what I
No.
tell you to, kids. It's like,
No, but
no.
I'm still afraid that once they give him that catchphrase, that's all he's going to become. Even though it's not going to be the one-word thing, it's still going to do what the catchphrase is supposed to do, and it's basically going to ruin him, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, but I would argue, did you or did you not like The Rock? Who had, if you know
I
what, who had like know your role and shut your mouth and had all the catchphrases. I liked
True.
Undertaker. He constantly had rest in peace. Wrestlers need catchphrases so they have some shit to put on the back of a t-shirt. Or a
Oh,
flip,
I
depending on which
completely
way they're
agree.
going.
It's just with what
Yeah,
they've been doing with catchphrases recently, I don't trust WWE with catchphrases, because to me right now in current WWE, catchphrase equals death knell.
see, I would say no, because the only one that did that was Daniel Bryan. Some of the other ones they've had come out with catchphrases and stuff have been great. Like, who didn't enjoy hearing, I got some bad news for you?
That's true. But he's not the face of the WWE. Like
No, but I'm
Cena,
saying that.
I think part of what made Cena like hated was the catchphrase, because he basically was nothing but a catchphrase in 5 Moves of Doom, and it's like, no.
You
Like
do,
before they gave him the "You can't see me" catchphrase, Cena
yeah.
was actually decent. I enjoyed watching him, and like, what's he gonna do next? But then they gave him the catchphrase, made him all kiddie friendly, and it all went downhill from there.
You do
Now
realize
he's
he
not
had,
as bad, but now he's back as the quote face of the company unquote at the present time. So I don't know where it's gonna go.
and again, you do realize he had that catchphrase when he was the rapper, right? He had that pretty early on as the rapper of the "You can't see me" with his rap routine. You only
Yeah,
noticed
but
it more when he was kiddie friendly because it didn't match his gimmick, but that was the idea of a catchphrase being out of place completely. It still suited him. "You can't see me," the crowd chanted, and it wasn't all he was. He was the guy that overcame odds.
true. Which they can't really do with Roman Reigns without making it look stupid. Because look at Roman Reigns.
They shouldn't. It looked stupid when they did that with Cena. Look at Cena. He's built the same.
True.
That's why, like I said, one of my favorite promos they did with Cena in recent years was the CM Punk one.
Mm.
When he's like, "Oh yeah, you think you're the underdog, just like the Boston Celtics think they're the underdog," and lists loads of teams. He goes, "But no, you're basically the New York Yankees," and that made him slap him in the face. That made Cena hit him.
True.
Like, "Don't ever refer to me as New York Yankees."
Yeah, that was a great promo.
Is Jim still there?
Oh no, he's been relatively quiet.
Jim.
Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh, yeah.
At last, he finally paid attention to his own show. Yay!
He's come back to the limelight. Oh yeah.
I have to say, our host, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. So, other things to mention for the week here.
Yes.
Sting put out a cryptic tweet that just said 7 of 14 of 14, or not 14, 7/14/14. No one really knows what that means, but it is the date of, it is Monday's date. So I wonder if people like it's going to be on Raw, it's an announcement about the video game. Nobody really knows. Any theories? Hopes?
It's not 7/14/14. It's all one number, and that's how many Pokemon he's caught.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome, and it would blow everybody's mind because they wouldn't be expecting it. I think it'd be awesome if Sting came out on Raw to announce not only is he now in WWE, but he's going to be in the video game.
That'd be cool.
The thing is, at this point in time, what the hell would they do with him? Because all the feuds are pretty much locked in right now.
What they need to do with him is basically they need to say the board of directors doesn't fully trust the authority, so they've made a co-owner with him and make it Sting. He can come out, he can do the woo like Sting does, like Ric Flair's done and stuff. He can do that. He can use his catchphrase and stuff. He can point at him. He can be face, but sort of like he was in TNA when he was in charge of TNA. He was actually when he wasn't doing the Joker gimmick, he was actually entertaining because he was like letting loose and just being himself, which that would work. And you could have a face GM feuding with Triple H and Stephanie and continue it with the same feud they have right now, because like Roman Reigns would finally have someone that can put some odds in his favor leading into some pay-per-views and stuff like that, which would kind of cool and balance the scales and stuff like that.
You just gave me an idea, because I just realized the Authority is supposed to be back this Monday, but Ric Flair is also supposed to be on Raw this Monday.
I will just say, Chris, aka The Mole, does not condone the ideas by Marcus Shadow.
Wait till you hear it, though. Ric Flair is the face. I mean, he endorsed the Shield. What if Ric Flair returns to Raw, styling and profiling, he's in a suit, and he's like, Hunter, I'm really disappointed in you. In fact, the board of directors is really disappointed in you, so they sent me out here tonight with full authority to do what I feel needs to be done to bring a little bit of order to this. But, well, you know how I am with order. So let's just say I'm bringing in an equalizer to kind of help out Roman Reigns a little bit, and that's when Sting comes out.
But Sting's the poster child of not order.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why he says, you know how I am with order.
Mm-hmm.
So Ric Flair's the poster child of not order. Come on.
See, I thought Ric Flair was the poster child of order when he became GM and stuff like that in the past. Or co-owner of Raw.
Ric Flair is the most child of order, specifically the Order of Four.
Yeah,
true.
Plus, who didn't love Ric Flair when he owned WCW at one point on TV? When he was in that management role, that was awesome.
Woo! That was awesome. I agree. Moving on. Also, WWE news this week, we had the announcement of the retirement of longtime superstar Shannon Moore.
Oh,
Prince
wow.
of Punk. Yeah.
Indeed.
No, who's going to help Matt Hardy keep his title?
I know. Well, apparently, judging what was happening at TNA, Jeff Hardy.
Matt Hardy has a title in TNA?
No, that was a joke, but no, TNA is saying, hey, let's be more WWE because they've got a Hardys-Dudleys feud going on right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to give. I doubt TNA will give Matt Hardy a title anytime soon because he's currently the ROH Icon champion.
I would also say, how is having two tag teams that are actually established and really good feuding anything like current WWE?
Oh.
That's right. Unlike WWE, TNA has a tag team and women's division.
This is true. Now they just need a fan base.
Yep.
They have a fan base. They just need an intelligent one.
Oh.
Touche.
No, they need an intelligent CEO.
They have a CEO?
Dixie Carter.
Oh, I thought she quit it. My bad.
I think
that's right. You're right. The Carter's
were
quit.
like-
I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we still have some hope. Global Force Wrestling.
Yay.
I'm actually excited.
Didn't-
Yeah, admit it though, Rick. I don't know if you're the same way, Rick. I'm actually excited for Global Force Wrestling.
I want to see it.
I think we should
hoping
let the
it's
Queen
good.
of Hearts talk. Because they keep talking over her.
Yeah, well, I'm used to it, so I guess it's not a big deal.
You gotta be assertive, Queen of Hearts. Talk over us.
I try, but nobody tends to listen. Nobody
I do.
seems to hear my voice in there when all 4, 5 of you are talking. So I lost my train of thought, so I guess it couldn't be that important. It was just about I seen a little bit, but not a lot of the Dixie part when I was watching TNA, and I thought she was being brought back after being gone for a while or something like that.
Ah.
That's the only thing. But I didn't know she like quit and like stuff like that. So
Fair enough.
That could be like the Bischoff thing.
Mhm.
When they maybe they brought her on as an on-screen personality because she had been an on-screen personality, but maybe she's not running it.
Mhm.
It's going to be the Eric Bischoff thing. So Dixie Carter's going to be the new general manager of Raw?
Please no.
Well, to be fair, she'd be better than the Authority.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You like
Anyway.
the Authority?
I think Renee Young should be the GM of Raw.
Boo that man. Boo.
I think Renee Young needs to actually be on commentary with William Regal as the fucking Raw commentators. Get rid of Joey Lawler and Michael Cole.
I don't know how long we're going to have her, because one of the stories that I read was that ESPN is courting Renee Young. They want to steal her.
Fair enough.
Anyway, other things that happened. Now, this was alluded to earlier, but as was mentioned, Daniel Bryan is in much worse shape than originally thought. The strength in his arm is not returning, and after further analysis, they said that his neck and shoulder injuries are worse than they thought. He's probably going to need a shoulder surgery, and there is no timetable for his return, and he has been removed from all WWE storylines and upcoming events.
Sucks for him. Great for TV.
I don't know. Additionally, we kind of briefly addressed the money issues in WWE, and they're getting worse.
Of course they are.
As Mark Shadow, I already talked to him about this a little bit, but WWE has put a new fining system in place. If superstars are seen out in public and they violate the dress code, they're not professionally dressed, they will be fined. Superstars will also be fined if they are even 1 minute late to the arena.
Wow.
And the general feeling among the talent is that the money issues are getting worse and that they're not going away anytime soon because nobody's doing anything about it. They haven't seen any signs it's going to change. Another example of one of the many financial issues, and listen to the numbers on this. Recently, WWE mailed out the quarterly royalty checks to talent this past week, and it's reported that talent that generally gets about $70,000 for the first quarter video game checks actually got about $11,700, a drop of well over $50,000.
Yeah, my guess is it may not have gotten worse. It sounds more like they're actually trying to do stuff about it. It's like when the recession hit, the money crisis, taxes and stuff started to go up to try and restable the economy. It sounds more like if they're finding people more and doing all this, they're actually trying to get more money, and they're putting they're meant to be cutting costs and stuff like that. It sounds like they're doing stuff to actually take measures to rebalance their checkbook, which I'm all for it. I do agree 1 minute late to the arena could be a little bad, although I would argue, what the fuck, don't they all arrive together?
No, because they're all through individual hotels, and it's up to them to get to the arena. But
and also, if they're in their hometown, I would imagine, those superstars and divas would probably go home.
Yeah, true. True, you do have that. I'm always used to over here whenever we go to watch them. Whenever you went to see them on the pay-per-views or anything like that, you could wait in a certain part of a load of the car parks, and you would see the bus pull up with every superstar on it.
Nice. But yeah, the video game royalty checks that I just mentioned were considerably lower than past years, and that's the same issue that Hall of Famer Mick Foley was ranting about on social media in the recent months.
Mick Foley is ranting about people being cheap. The guy's had a dirty sock down his pants for like 15 years.
True. Other things happening. Having finished filming a movie, The Big Show will be coming back to TV around the end of the month.
Nice. That gives me a big Star Trek.
Ah.
Hi, transcripts.
Ah.
What movie is he in? Do we know?
He is in the upcoming WWE film.
Peter Jackson's The Big Friendly Giant.
Ah.
Roald Dahl, motherfuckers.
Okay then.
You don't like Roald Dahl?
I like Roald Dahl. That was just an interesting reference I didn't expect.
So the movie is called.
I'm checking. Hang on. I didn't write the name down. I didn't think anybody would care.
Knucklehead 3D.
There we go. Big Show.
To Wikipedia.
Yeah. Big Show is appearing in the WWE Studios film Vendetta.
Yes, that was just what I Yes, that was a shot at Jim.
We always
Vendetta.
appreciate shots at Jim.
Yes.
Yes.
But the film is Vendetta is the name of the film.
Hi.
Whatever that's about.
Def
I'm
Jam
guessing it's
Vendetta
about a
starring The
vendetta.
Big Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing the film is about someone wanting revenge. You could even say a vendetta.
Ah. Anywho.
They were gonna call it Revengeance, but that was already taken.
Yeah.
There you go.
So what else happened this week? Read us a story.
Yeah. Let's find out. We also got. Let me check my list here. Other things that are happening. In an attempt to help.
Boo! Read your Chris Jericho Edge erotic fan fiction.
Ah,
Available now on fanfiction.net.
no. No. That would be Tess fan fiction. She's the Canadian one here. Anyway.
Cue the clip.
What fanfic?
Exactly.
Cue the clip.
Oh, we
I
were talking about
missed that.
Jim's erotic fan fiction.
Yeah.
It involved Edge and Chris Jericho, and apparently he said you're going to be there with the lube. I was like, I didn't trust him.
I don't know.
I judge him.
Well, apparently, if we go by the YouTube transcripts, it involves Marcus Shadow on me, so I don't know.
Or if we go by Richter's video.
Ah.
That's for monopolizing my time.
There you go. Anyway, in an attempt to convert those who got the free trial of the network to stay on for a 6-month period, WWE is offering a $25 gift card to the WWE shop for anybody who goes for a 6-month sign up after the free trial ends.
Yeah, that's how you save money. Spend more of it with a gift
Yeah.
card.
Pretty much.
Well, it's probably that the most people will buy something that's like a little bit over, and then you got to pay for shipping because I think it's like probably like $50 to get free shipping. So like, oh well, it's only half price. And it's like, okay, sure.
True. Plus, I guess if they can convince that person to sign up for 6 months of the network, charged at about $10 a month, $15 a month. Let's say 10. But if $10 a month, that's like at least 4, maybe 5. So that's like weeks, which is like $50. So yeah, they've made the money back. They've made it back.
Yeah, that promotional offer is valid from July 11th to the 19th, if anyone's interested. Additionally, final thing I have on my list anyway is that going back to the cost-cutting measures, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, apparently Vince has ordered a lot more cuts because they're trying to offset the expected $45 to $53 million loss for next year. Additional cuts that could be instituted include the wrestlers having to travel coach instead of first class, scaling back catering at WWE events, and scaling back on how much new talent they sign for NXT and such things.
Plus, they've auctioned off parts of an old WWE title, so now it's just a $1,000 belt.
Yeah.
They
I
melted
would
it
love
down.
to see that.
That'd be hilarious.
I'd love to see-
They auction off the belt, pieces of his jacket, everything's just gone. And then a couple of weeks later, there's a convention, and you see him sitting next to Virgil, and they're both alone.
How could they both be alone? They'd have each other as company.
Well, you know what I mean. There's nobody in line.
Fair
I
enough.
thought they talked to him, and they're like, "What happened to your belt and your jacket?" And he's like, "Everyone has a price." And he's all depressed about it.
Even
Exactly.
me.
I'm hoping that if that happened and they auctioned off all that and took all the $1 million man's millions of dollars and stuff like that, I kind of want to go on eBay and see Ted DiBiase has a new listing and he's selling Virgil. And I want to see only a $1 bid.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be kind of illegal? Because wouldn't that be considered slavery?
It's not slavery if it's Virgil. Virgil's an accessory, not a person.
Wow.
That's not being racist. I'm saying black people are people. Virgil is not a person. He is an accessory.
Mhm. So you're saying that an accessory had enough fan demand to get put in the video game?
Yes, that's why Head was in one of them.
Nice.
Fair enough.
I think it was WWE Attitude he was in.
Okay
It was
then.
either Attitude or Warzone, one of them. He was actually in there.
I believe
Yeah.
Richter can tell you because he owns both of them.
I'd have to look it up. I don't.
I believe it was Warzone because I own that game, and I belive I recall
Yeah.
Head being one of these scattered items around the ring that you can hit people with.
I own both of them, but what I was actually referring to is you could on one of them you could use a cheat code and you could actually play as Head.
Hmm?
I can't remember if it was an official code or if it was an actual replay code, but one of them actually let you play as Head. It was like an unlockable weird. I don't know. It was fun. Head. Okay.
Okay then. Anyway, also in regards to the previous comments, the X-Fan does not condone the comments of course, the mall. Moving along. I have nothing else. Does anybody have anything else for the week in wrestling that they wanted to mention tonight?
I don't know, Richter. You have anything you want to mention? If you haven't mentioned it.
The only thing I saw that I liked was, even though it probably ruins his character, I like the Damien Sandow dress up as shit is continuing. I don't know if it ever stopped. I just remember seeing the Magneto one, and then I heard about Vince last week, and then I saw this week he did Shawn Michaels.
He's
and
done them
Bret
every
Hart.
week. Yeah, he's done them every week. Usually they're based on where he is. He came out as a basketball player from a town one time. He came out as Davy Crockett. He came out as what else? What else did he do? He did Abe Lincoln when they were in Illinois.
McMahon, Bret Hart.
Yeah, Mr. McMahon, Bret the Hitman Sandhart. He's done he does a new one every week. They're pretty hilarious.
Yeah, which as I said,
those.
Rick, I don't see them as ruining his character. I see as getting him over because his "You're welcome" started to just not get a reaction. Mainly probably because of how they treated him with Money in the Bank. But it was a case of he started to get not a reaction. Now he's actually getting a reaction. Eventually they'll break free of this and he can be something else, which I'm all for that.
Yeah, and in all fairness, Victor, if you're unaware, this whole gimmick was actually Sandow's idea.
Oh, really? Nice.
He came up with it.
Isn't he also funding it?
Yeah, he's also buying his own costumes.
He needs to go on $10 cosplay and make some really good ones.
There
And
you
by
go.
really good, I mean terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
I also get the feeling WWE doesn't know which direction they want to push Sandow because he's getting a lot of favorable reactions, a lot of almost face reactions, yet they continually try to push him as a heel, and it's just not working because he's getting that favorable reaction.
Yeah, but I think part of that is I actually think he's managed to hit a note not a lot of heels have for a while. He's one of those heels where you like him, but you just enjoy seeing him get beat up. It's one of those things of you like Sandow, but you really do like him. You like seeing him cry, like, yay, Sandow, but you at the same time you want to see him get hit, which that's damn entertaining. I'm sorry, that's kind of entertaining. I like that because they've had heels before. We've had faces that act heelish. I like it now every now and again when you get a heel that acts face-ish, and I don't just mean Bo Dallas when he does it ironically. I mean, Sandow's one of those ones that when you see him, the part of the enjoyment is seeing who's going to beat him up this week.
This is true, but it still feels like a step back because I also happen to be a fan of Sandow. I wasn't a huge fan when he first debuted, but once I actually, saw him wrestle and stuff, I'm like, this guy has talent. I want to actually see him wrestle. And now he's basically Santino Marella. He's the punchline. And I'm like, I don't know that I like that.
Yeah, he's the punchline right now, but sometimes that can work for wrestlers, and it can get them over. I'm hoping to get him over. I really do hope he gets him over, and I hope he gets a push in the future. I don't see him getting a push majorly for like a year or two, but I'm not saying he's going to keep the gimmick for a year or two, but it'd still be interesting to see where it goes. And I was a fan of Sandow too, and I like that. I've liked him doing the "You're welcome" in the ring. I've liked him doing that. I've loved him trying to order coffee from Alberto Del Rio, but still. And yeah, Rick, all of those are up right now on their site.
Nice.
I think they finished the series. You've got all of the what's the hell's name of it now? Slam City. You've got all of them, including part 2 of Sheamus v Brock.
Nice.
Which is enjoyable because they're fighting in the old black and white film.
I will say WWE did something really, really smart with Sandow, and I think it's part of what sold the gimmick a little bit, maybe. Of when he came out as Magneto, it was when Hugh Jackman was the special guest. So they actually had like an actual actor in the ring. So Hugh Jackman actually sold the fact more than a WWE superstar would that Sandow was actually Magneto, which I was like, that's kind of brilliant. Because I'm sorry, if it had been a WWE superstar doing that, they wouldn't have been able to sell it for shit.
To be fair, the reaction was the same as, wasn't it, Dolph in the ring? Where they were laughing at him for being dressed as Magneto and for
They
thinking
were,
he was
but-
Magneto.
But they
Pretty
did that,
much.
but then Jackman turned around and sold that Damian Sandow had magnetic powers. And I think a lot of that, I'm sorry, the credit has to go to Hugh Jackman
It does.
because
It
that
is
is
awesome.
acting, and that showed why he's a damn good actor. Because he could sell something as ridiculous as Damian Sandow in a homemade Magneto costume having magnetic powers.
It does, and that is pretty awesome.
That is.
And to be fair to Hugh Jackman, like I said, he is an awesome actor. Although to be fair, he does have a lot of props for selling completely useless, pointless, stupid stuff. Hi, Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
Boom.
Fun fact that not everyone knows about Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine. If you pay attention, the face of Richter Hammer that you currently see in this little hangout does feature in like a propaganda style poster on the wall. Richter paid good money for that.
No way.
Watch all the film, watch the entire film again, audience, and look out for it. You'll see it.
I'm pretty sure the X-Men does not condone watching that movie once, let alone again.
What are you saying? I'm such a troll that I would make people watch that film and tell them that if you've missed it, rewind it and watch it again to look for that poster.
Yes, also
Yes,
rewind it.
I'm Marcus Shadow,
Rewind
movie
it.
guy
Yeah.
of the X-Pound. Do not condone the recommendations of one Chris, aka the Mole, because
And I
that
also
movie was fucking terrible.
It was. Wolverine Origins was terrible, but I will also admit, yes, I did date myself by saying rewind it. Like Richter pointed out.
Not really. You can rewind using Blu-rays.
What? Yeah, but how are you going to rewind the entire film to watch it again? You might as well just press menu and play.
True.
Yeah.
When they first came out, my sister actually, like when we were watching DVDs and everything, my sister actually asked, "How do you rewind a DVD?" This was after the movie was over.
Hmm.
They have DVDs in Canada now?
Yeah. That's sort of like down here. There's a funny commercial for I can't remember what the hell it's even a commercial for.
He'll look it up in 5, 4, 3.
No, I'm not gonna bother. But it's there's a funny commercial for something, and there's a series of these about people who are who don't understand modern stuff, and then there's this modern thing. Like I don't think it's for like the cable company or some piece of, or a cell phone or something. Anyway, they there's this couple, and there's this couple, and the guy says the guy says something along the lines of about saving time. I say to save time when I rent DVDs. Don't rewind them. Way I see it, it's the next guy's problem.
Oh, you're talking about the Geico commercial.
Is that what it is? A Geico commercial?
Yeah.
See, I loved the fact that sounded hilarious, but what made it funnier is the fact the advert was clearly ineffective, as Jim was like, I don't know, cable company, a phone company, I don't know what the fuck it is. Some advert selling something. It's like, wow, that advert's really hit a nerve. It's so effective at making you want to buy something.
I know.
Quick, Walmart, give me all the somethings,
Yeah.
said Stacy.
Yeah, that one was good. But
Well, that does seem like something she'd say. I want all of your everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one was
you were
good, Jim. But
saying,
I think the other one they run is far better. It's my favorite one, the Facebook one. I don't know if you've seen that one, Jim, from Geico, where there's these 3 old ladies in the house.
Yes, that is hilarious.
Where,
on.
have you seen this one, Richter? Where the 3 old ladies and the one who owns the house, they're staring at a wall in her house, and it's got a bunch of framed images on it. And one of her friends is like, "I like that one."
Yeah.
And he's like, it's like, all right, it's got to like something. And it's like, I friend you, and then and she's like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And she turns around and she goes, I unfriend you. It's like, wow. I just thought that was brilliant. They're like, they made a real wall.
But we're going off topic now. Well, we'll save that for commercial XPAL radio. And
Is that where we do the commercial of you looking like a 1980s porn star lying on the hood of a car, being like, "Hey, call me."
nah.
I believe that was Jim's Carl's Jr. ad.
I believe it was his advert late at night to please women when they try to use porn for women, and it's like, ladies, call me. Then you can see my pants rise from the ashes.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Or and Marcus Shadow will get this joke. Seeing as if it's supposed to be Tiff, given that she's in Canada, I was going to be like, "Hello, settlers."
Wow.
Data reference. I know when it worked.
Wow, I can't believe you pulled out that reference.
Damn right I did. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. This has been another WXR. We will see you next time. Good night, everybody.